Welcome everybody. I will be talking about two things. First, I will tell something about how we extended the Canvas with our LTI tools. So we have a lot of tools like Office, Panopto, and others, but I'm going to talk about the ones we developed ourselves. So when we were looking for a new platform LMS a couple of years ago, it was very important for us that it was LTI compliant, because we tried for years to add tools to our existing LMS. It was hosted on-premise, so it was easy to add new tools and to tweak the system like we wanted. But when we were going to a new LMS, we were going to cloud service hosting. So we needed a platform that was LTI compliant, so we could easily add tools and also add some customization through JavaScript. So first part is about the LTI tools. The most important one we developed ourselves was a peer assessment tool. We had one for about 10 years that we developed ourselves. We had two versions, one that was standalone and one that was integrated in our previous LMS. So we decided to make one that was LTI compliant, so we could add it to Canvas. One of the most important features are it has multiple assessment types. So it has peer assessment for assessment in groups. It has a 360, that's not finished yet, but it will have a 360-degree assessment. It has multiple evaluation scales, multiple assessor profiles, and you can take the same peer assessment multiple times through one semester. You can add rubrics to the system. We have a bonus and penalty system. So not only the peers, the students assess the other students, but also the teacher can review how the students filled it in. So if students made, if the students did a good job, they can have a bonus, and if they were sloppy, they got a penalty. It's also linked to Canvas to assignments, so you can link a peer assessment with an assignment. So if you have a group assignment and you have a score, the peer assessment tool will add or subtract points to the individual students. You can also link it to group sets if you decide not to use assignments, and the grades will also be put into Canvas in the end. So we try to have the same look and feel inside the peer assessment tool as we have in Canvas, so that the students had one seamless user experience. So you can see we use cards for each peer assessment in the tool, and also this is the overview of one of the peer assessments. So you see it's all the same user interface as in Canvas. So you can see we have the criteria on the top. You can see which assignments or group set it's linked to. So the criteria, if you're using rubrics, yes or no. Then we have the list of different moments that you can take the peer assessment. You can follow how much the progress is assessment. So you can see if it's 100%, then you can go to view the results. And at the bottom you can see all the different weights. You can have different weights for each moment in the peer assessment. So you can say that the first moment early in the semester, you can have a lower weight of the second one or the third one. Each assessor profile can have a different weight. So this is set to the student self-assessment has 0 weight, and the assessment of the peers will be 100%, but it could also be 20, 80, or something else. And at the bottom, the penalty or bonus. So you can click further, and this is an overview of the progress inside each group. So you can view if a group is finished or not, or if a student is behind the schedule. And if everything is done, then you can display the results. I'm not giving a full demo because it's we don't have enough time, and so it's just some screenshot. The next tool we have is the ECTS Sheets. So we have our SIS software generates ECTS sheets for each of the courses, and the courses are automatically created during the night. So each course has its own sheet, but the SIS software doesn't have LTI compliance, so we wrote a small tool that takes the data from Canvas and transforms it into a link that will redirect to the appropriate ECTS sheet. So this is how it looks like in the course. There is a button ECTS sheet at the bottom, but it's cut off when I took the screenshot, so you can see it. But this is the page nicely embedded in the course, so the student has all the information he needs. The next one is a nice one. It's the reading list. The website of our library services has a tool for years that you can add a reading list as a student or a teacher, multiple reading lists, and now we enabled, we transform it into an LTI tool. So now teachers can go to their course and link one or more of their reading lists to the course. And later on, that's not finished, but students will be able to add their own private lists to the course as well. So next is a small video demonstration of how it's done. So this is the tool inside the course. You can see the reading list button, and on the right side you can see there are no reading lists inside the course. So we go to the portal of the library, and I search for Canvas. Then we have a list of books or websites with Canvas. I can make a new reading list. So I save the items to the Canvas reading list. So add some more books. So when I'm done, I return to Canvas. I refresh the reading list. I click on Edit. I can see my new reading list. I click on Link. So I can see those are my added lists, added items. So now I go to Student View. When I click Reading List, I see the one that I linked, and all the books are there. When I click, I go to the portal, and there's a pop-up with all the information about the books. Part 2, we also added customization to the user interface. There are a lot of JavaScript online that other people made, but you have to glue everything together. The CSS and the JavaScript have to be done separately, and then you have to upload the files using the theme editor. But we decided that we wanted a system that built everything automatically. So we made some kind of framework where you can add plugins, and those plugins can be written in JavaScript, TypeScript, or other languages that can be compiled into JavaScript. And the system I wanted something that could be modular, so you can add different modules that are small components, and I wanted it to be translatable, so it has a translation framework, and everything is compiled into 2 separate files, one CSS file and one JavaScript file. Number 1 feature request from users was reordering the course cards in the dashboard. So we've looked online and we found a small JavaScript, but we used that and adapted it and made it compatible with the framework. So now we have it in Canvas. So how does it work? So you can simply pick your cards and drag them around, and they are automatically saved. So you don't have to press save. If you refresh, the cards will automatically be in the same order as before. So it saves the data in the database of Canvas using the API. The course recycle bin. So we discovered that Canvas has a hidden recycle bin tool. In each course there is a recycle bin, but you have to type in the URL manually. So we decided to add a button to each course so that you can go to settings, then click on the recycle bin and go straight to the tool. So this is how it works. So let's say we are in the files tool and we accidentally delete one of the files. So if you click on delete and confirm, then let's say I accidentally deleted the wrong file. So I go to settings and we see the course recycle bin. And I click restore. Okay. If you go back to files, and we can see the file is just where we had it before. And another problem we had was, so I mentioned before that all of our courses, the official courses, are generated automatically. They are synchronized with our sys software at night. But the problem is, if teachers edit some of the fields in the settings, then the synchronization will fail. So if they change the term or they change the sys ID or the sub-accounts, because each program in our school is one different sub-account. If they change those settings, then the synchronization will fail. So you can see here that the fields that cannot be, or that we don't want to be edited by the teachers, are grayed out, so they can't change those settings. Also, we had some teachers that concluded some courses before they are at their end date, and also the delete button is also end this course and delete this course are the 2 buttons that we have disabled for teachers. So you won't see them in the settings there. So, as I mentioned, how did we make the framework? So I wanted to have to be able to write it in modern JavaScript. So most browsers don't understand that, but it will be compiled. I wanted it to have modules. So we have modules that can be published online through NPM, that's the package manager. So you can link to those tools, download them, and add them to your own script. Everything is compiled into one separate JavaScript and one CSS file, even though you can have multiple files in each module. So that's using Webpack. And when I'm compiling, I can say to the compiler if I wanted to have it compatible with the most common browsers, or you can say if I wanted to have it compatible with Internet Explorer if you still use it in your institution, or you can just skip that. So you have more control over the file and where it can be used. So it's using the Babel compiler. Also, what's important is if you have a script that changes the UI, if Canvas makes an update, it's possible that the changes you have made will break without notice. So what we are trying to do, it's still under construction, but we have an automated tool where you can say from, if I go to a certain website, then to a certain tool, then I want to see this or that button that I added. So if I run the test, if something changes in Canvas and the tool breaks, I will be notified of the change, and I can so I have time to update my tool. Okay. Okay, I think I have finished. Oh, and sorry, I just have one more slide. This is sorry, I forgot. This is some screenshots. Anyway, it's a movie about the build tool. So I go to the console, I just type build if I have downloaded everything. It takes a couple of seconds and it builds. So you can see it added 2 files. I go to the theme editor and I upload the 2 files. So I'm done, and then you have to save the theme and everything will work. Okay. The source code is also available on GitHub, and it's an MIT license, so everyone can download it.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very informative. I was very excited about the recycle bin also. Just one question around how the upgrades of Canvas impacted on your customization. So how did the Canvas upgrades, how did they behave, or how did they impact your customizations?
We don't know yet because we're just starting now. It's our first year with Canvas, but we anticipated that if something changes, that we have to be able to react quickly, because we only have a 3-week window, I think, or a couple of weeks before something is. If a change is made, it is released on the beta, so we can run the test there, so we can immediately see if something will break. So we can act immediately. So we don't have to wait for the users to say, oh, something is broken, and then have to fix something quickly. Because we will have those tests, we can be pretty much at ease. We don't have to panic if something breaks.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. We've noticed in some of our apps, well, in most of our apps, LTI apps, that when you try to get data from Canvas itself, the API's speeds are quite slow. How have you noticed this, and have you managed to circumvent it?
We haven't noticed that it was slow for the moment, but like I said, we are just starting now with Canvas. So, but the academic year has already started, and the first week is mostly busy. So we haven't had any complaints so far, so I don't expect any problems for now.
Regarding hiding the fields in the settings for teacher, how it is linked? It's linked to a role, the teacher role. Could it be applied to different roles? And could we extend that to any fields which are in the settings, like the course code?
Could you repeat, please?
For hiding fields, you mentioned to hide the fields for
the
teacher
restriction on the fields.
or gray the fields to avoid editing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it applied to some roles?
Oh, it's applied to everyone except the administrators. So teachers can't edit the fields, but administrators can.
And it could be applied to any fields within the settings, like the course code and so on?
For now, it's fixed to those 3 fields, but I'm planning to have it to be flexible. So you can add options So I want that you want this or that field editable or not.
And just a basic question here, how many people are working alongside with you to do this in Ghent?
For this, the customization I'm doing on myself.
Okay. And in the larger team on just the technical aspects, configuration, customization?
Well, we have a team of 4. It's called the Digital Learning Team. And we are the ones that are responsible for the Canvas and the integrations.
Okay. Thank you.
And also the things like the peer assessment tool is developed in together with the IT department. And the library tool is, of course, together with the people from the library. They have their own developers. So I don't do everything myself. So.
What does the Babel compiler do?
It takes modern JavaScript. So if the new spec comes out and all the new features in JavaScript, it takes those new JavaScript features, which are not always compatible with older browsers, and it compiles it in old JavaScript, so that it and you have fine-grained control over which browsers it should support. So in our case, we want Internet Explorer 11 as the latest compatible browser there. So we can target that browser and it will compile so that it will work there. And you can also have other JavaScript dialects and have them transpiled into JavaScript.